Welcome to episode 730. John Armitage, hedge fund manager from UK. This episode is divided into two parts. Part 1, the biography of John Armitage. Part 2, the 8 lessons of John Armitage. There are 3 reasons we study John Armitage. First, with a net worth of $2 billion and at age 60, he's one of the up-and-coming UK hedge fund manager. Second, he has achieved the rare combination of high yield and low volatility. Third, my friend Shahad Kes recommended him.
Over time. Ideally, we're looking for the types of companies you'd be happy to own and unworried about owning if the stock market closed and you couldn't trade them. And what does that mean? That means businesses with strong balance sheets, strong cash flows, sustainability, and attractive medium-term growth prospects where you are not constantly worried about them going wrong. One of the great things about the markets is that they keep you young because there are always new industries evolving, new companies coming to the market. And quite honestly, I don't know the sorts of companies we'll be investing in over time. I do know that since I started, the remit of what we do has changed dramatically with changes in industry, and I hope this will continue.
Born in UK in 1959. In 1981, at the age of 22, he graduated from Pembroke College, Cambridge University, with a degree in modern history. His first job was at Morgan Grenfell, and he would work there for the next 14 years. John Armitage is a star performer. His Morgan Grenfell European Growth Trust was the top performing European mutual fund from 1988 to 1994.
We set the firm up in 1994. I set it up with my partner Bill Bollinger.
This is the only picture I found for William Bollinger. In 2020, the 60-year-old John Armitage is a very rich trader. Part 2, the 8 lessons of John Armitage. Lesson 1, close to new client in 2013. After a number of stellar years of good return, his Egerton fund are characterized by very high return, about twice the stock market average, and with half the volatility. Lesson 2, from transparent to secretive. Before 2010, his hedge fund was transparent because they wanted to attract more investors. Since then, after success and closing to new client, the hedge fund became secretive. Lesson 3, his hedge fund is focused and has a very small staff. In 2020, he has asset under management about $20 billion.
There are 11 of us investing and about 40 people in the firm in all.
Lesson 4, for picking stocks, he wants moat and growth.
What does that mean? That means businesses with strong balance sheets, strong cash flows, sustainability, and attractive medium-term growth prospects where you are not constantly worried about them going wrong. Okay. And we have a preference for industry winners.
Lesson 5, his fund has a European focus. He also invests in the United States and Brazil.
Going on outside it. It's quite important to say what we don't do outside Europe, because after all this is called a European product, in view of the East. That's because we feel the East we're behind in the time zone. We feel it's more of an insider's market, and we're not used to dealing with command economies. Where we have the most money outside Europe is in the US of A and in Brazil. Brazil mainly in domestic companies, because we think that the domestic economy will be the driver of the stock market over the
Lesson 6, liquidity.
Third risk would be liquidity, and the liquidity is the risk that you can buy but you can't sell, and that's clearly a horror. And that's why we put a very strict liquidity framework in place and have a huge emphasis on avoiding what I call lobster pot investments. Lobster pot investments are where you can buy but you can't sell.
Lesson 7. Limited short selling.
I think if you look at the history of short sellers in the stock market, it's very hard to find short sellers who consistently generate double-digit returns over a market cycle. That tells me that short selling is a very difficult activity. But the fact is, short selling has in the past, at times, notably in the market downdrafts, added tremendous value to our portfolios.
Lesson 8. Almost no leverage.
Or long-short European equity hedge fund product has generated compound returns of between 16 and 17% since 1994, with an average net long exposure to the market of around 70%, significantly lower volatility than the market, and very, very modest use of leverage. In fact, I would say minimal use of leverage. And clearly the past is no guide to the future.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave your questions and comments below. Wishing everyone peace and prosperity.